All right, class. Today I'll be going over a quick review over chapters 2 and 3 in regard to scaffolding language and scaffolding learning by Pauline Gibbons. Um, chapters 2 starts off with classroom talk and how we as educators can help learners to learn a new language. And they give multiple tips. I want to start off with the first one is learners need to understand what is being said to them and what they are reading. And so we can do that in multiple ways. One is first possibly using the mother tongue to introduce a topic or key concept before using English. We can use pictures, diagrams, graphic outlines to illustrate complex ideas, giving them an opportunity to draw on the resources of technology, including interactive tests. And then, as for us as educators, expressing the same idea in more than one way. These are all ways that we as educators can get our ELD students to understand what is being asked of them or what they are being taught. Second is learners need to use the new language themselves. So not only do they need comprehensible input, but they also need comprehensible output as well. They need the opportunity to be able to speak, and through that process, that'll help them understand more of the language. So it's not all about just being the opportunity to understand and listen, but they're given an opportunity to speak on it as well. The next is learners need opportunities to use stretched language. It has a connection to the one I just previously talked about. We need to give students the opportunity, for one, to struggle and challenge themselves in the attempt to speak a certain language that they're having difficulty with. They need to be put in an environment where they're not afraid to fail. We need to encourage students to go beyond what is easy and familiar and take risks with their language use. And through that process, they will be able to adapt. They'll be able to learn from their mistakes. And maybe the next time they attempt that specific sentence or that specific paragraph, they will be able to learn from those mistakes and work better on it. And at the same token, we need to be able to allow students to struggle to the point of not giving up. We won't want to allow them to feel embarrassed or to lose confidence and then not attempt it in the future. So it's all about environment, a supportive environment of allowing our students to be in. The next is learners need models of new language, especially the academic registers of school. So that includes talk about the way that language varies according to the context in which it is used. So we need to inform our students that language that is used inside the classroom would be considered academic language may be different than the language they use in their house or in their community. A lot of times students struggle with this concept, and so we need to teach them how academic language is used in the classroom and how they can apply it to their everyday life within the classroom. The next concept that Gibbons talks about is learners need opportunities to build on the resources of their mother tongue. So that's allowing students at times to work with others who speak the same language, so allowing them to get in groups with other students that speak the same language and be able to interact with one another and understand the concept that they're working on. And we also need to encourage students who are already literate in other languages to read and write it specifically in the early stages of their learning. And then I kind of want to move on to the last part here, and that is a couple tips is slowing down the dialogue. I think a lot of us educators, we speak kind of fast, and so we need to be able to, one, slow down the dialogue, slow down as we speak to give students opportunity to interpret what we're saying. We need to allow thinking time before students are expected to answer. We don't want to feel like the students are rushed for a response. Let them feel that they have time to interpret it before they do respond. We need to help students to explain their reasoning, not just give information. Do they truly understand it, or are they just giving us an answer that they think is the answer? And then we need to treat students as worthy conversational partners. We don't want to respond in a negative way. We want to give them positive feedback at all times, encourage them that we are on this journey with them through their language development, and they need to be able to feel comfortable to do so. The next chapter is Chapter 3, Collaborative Group Work and Second Language Learning. Chapter 3 talks about well-designed and well-rounded group work offers many advantages for second language development. And so how do we do that? The book talks about in what ways can we do that? And one of the ways that the book talks about is we need to make sure that the group understands that there's a clear outcome, that we're looking specifically for something. The next is the task is cognitively appropriate for the learners. We need to make sure that the task is not too easy, but not too challenging as well. It's something that they can do and they can achieve together. The next is all children in the group are involved. We need to make sure that every child is involved. Many times in group work, you'll see a child kind of stay behind and not interact with the rest of the group. We do not want that. We need to make sure all students are being involved and have an opportunity to have their voice heard. The next is students have enough time to complete the task. This is another issue. Sometimes we don't leave enough time for students to actually complete the task. And what that does is, it rushes the system, and we don't want them, because you can miss a lot of things through rushing group work. And so we want to allow them plenty of time. And if we cut it too early, maybe the students in the group don't fully understand the concept. They're not able to hear what the group has to say, which then puts them in a situation not understanding the situation fully. So that one's huge. And then the next is students know how to work in groups. We adults have problems sometimes working in groups. So we need to teach our students, how do you work in groups? Teaching them, allowing them to say one individual, one student speaks at a time. Do not interrupt the other student. Maybe you don't agree with a particular student's stance on a particular topic, but you need to be understanding. So allowing students, how is the process of working with the group? How does it take place? These are all huge ways of allowing students to work in groups, because we know that by working in groups, it develops and maintains relationships within the classroom. And off that note, developing and maintaining relationships, I think it's huge when working with ELD students. They need to understand that not only the students in the classroom, but the teacher as well, are willing to help them, that they care about them, that they understand their struggle, that they're not going to be judged on how they perform a task. And so when you're put in an environment like that, we know that studies prove that students are put in a situation to succeed. And when they feel that they're threatened or they do not feel supported in a particular environment, they're not as well off. And so we need to give our students the best opportunity to succeed and develop the language that they're learning. And one huge component of that is developing and maintaining relationships. We need to let our students know that we care about them and that we understand the difficulties that they're going through. And off that, I just want to thank everyone for listening. See you next class. Thank you.